So number one, we have a deep need to be understood and accepted. It's not enough. We don't have just a need to be understood, and we have a deep need to be understood. When we feel misunderstood, it's hard for us to receive anything. We have a deep need to be understood and accepted. And if I would try to divide it up, I would say the women have maybe a bigger need sometimes to be understood, and the men a bigger need to be accepted. But it's on both sides. As humans, we have a deep need to be understood and loved in spite of it. And when we understand someone's issues or personality, we don't feel as judgmental. We don't feel as judgmental. We don't feel as critical toward them when we understand. There's a story of a guy traveling on a train, a guy named Stephen Covey, and he has a father sitting across from him, and a boy that is just wild. He's just all over the place, and he's disturbing everyone, bumping into people, and just hanging on things, and he's trying to get some peace. He's, wants to rest a little bit on this train. It's bugging him, and the dad's just kind of sitting there, disengaged father, and what's the deal, and he actually, it irritates him so much that he actually says something. He's like, "Sir, can you please control your son a little bit?" And the man looks up and he says, "Yeah, I'm sorry." He said, it's just, his mom died 2 weeks ago, and he hasn't been the same since, and I haven't either, to tell you the truth. It's been really hard on us. Boom, guys. Where was his sense of indignation at that moment? When he understood that person's context, what was going on in them. It removed his sense of criticalness and judgmentalness, right? So this is another reason it's so important for us to understand, because it removes that stuff. Another one is it helps us react and not respond. I'm sorry, it helps us it helps us respond and not react. Reverse that. It helps us respond and not react. How do you know when you get an initial stimulus? Okay, someone comes in, let's just follow that same example. You're in your, preparing the message box, and your wife comes in. Your initial stimulus has an emotional gut reaction. It's just a knee jerk, right? I'm busy, right? It hurts. It actually, there's emotions moving around and stuff, and it actually can feel a little bit painful. It's irksome, right? But then, when you understand, when you inject understanding into that scenario, you can step outside of yourself. And you can see what's going on. Oh, I'm in my box. I'm in my box. I know what that emotion is. I know what that's about. I know where that comes from. I don't have to give in to that. It doesn't master me. I can actually choose how to respond to this situation. It's my beautiful, loving wife who is taking care of everything and doing everything while I'm here in my box. Okay? It helps when you understand what's going on to step out and not react, but respond. If you don't, you're just stuck. You just feel frustrated because you don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I feel angry, right? It's when you understand what's going on, it helps you step out. And then your secondary is you can rationalize, you can process that emotion and that feeling through another processor and actually choose how you're going to respond. I'm going to respond in a loving way. Okay? So that's the reason why it's important to understand these things. Now, I'm going to distill. There's so much information out there, guys, on the differences between men and women and how to communicate and so forth. And we're going to get into more of the communication and so forth another time. There's just great material and great books on it. I'll just play maybe, do I have time to play an audio? Yeah. Do I have time?
5 minutes?
Yeah, it's 5 minutes. Do I have time?
And then maybe at the bottom you can read everyone.
Well, I'll just cover it quickly. I'd love to read that part. That's my fun part. Unless you don't think it's a good idea. Alright, so you can just probably hear this, but you won't be able to see it.
Let's start discussing men's brains, women's brains, and how they're very different from each other. Now, I want to start with men's brains. Alright, now men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. And we have a box for everything. We've got a box for the car. We've got a box for the money. We've got a box for the job. We've got a box for you. We've got a box for the kids. We've got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is, the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box, we pull that box out, we open the box, we discuss only what is in that box. All right? And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire. And everything is connected to everything. The money's connected to the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. It's like the internet superhighway. Okay? And it's all driven by energy that we call emotion. It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything. And she just loves it. Okay? Now, men, we have a box in our brain that most women are not aware of. This particular box has nothing in it. True. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. Now, they've actually measured this. The University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago did a study and discovered that men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. You know, they connected all the wires and stuff like that, watched the brain activity, and all of a sudden, I think he's dead. Huh? You know, women can't do it. They can't do it. Their minds never stop. And they don't understand the nothing box. And it drives them crazy. Because nothing drives a woman more crazy or makes her feel more irritated
Guys, if you're interested, this guy's got a lot of materials. He was a pastor, and he's got a lot of good things like that. It's just fun. It's very enjoyable, and it helps to get some insights too, and some of the ways that make us different. Again, it's generalizations, but it's beneficial. And I think you guys, it's laughyourway.com. If you're interested, you can go on the website and see some more of his material and stuff. But it's a lot of fun. Yes.
I once heard that they said that men think like waffles, you know, in the little compartments, and women they're like spaghetti.
Right. Yes. Yeah, yeah. And waffles aren't better than spaghetti, or spaghetti better than waffles?
No, one's is different, one's in breakfast.
Yeah, let me do this real quick, guys. And I wrote down some ways, because I've done I've read different materials and so forth. I would say I've done a lot of research, but I've done some research and things over the years that have helped us in our marriage. And I wrote those down as some tips for you guys of the things that have helped us the most. So you can look through those and even talk about them later on. That'd be probably a good discussion thing for you. But I just want to go through these diagrams real quick. Look, the Lord made us to need each other and to have a relationship that is symbiotic, that's mutually beneficial, okay? And we look at these things, for example, men need to be admired by a woman for getting stuff done. Men actually have a need to be admired by women for getting stuff done, okay? And women need to have men get stuff done for them. This is symbiotic. This works, right? This is a very good design. Women need to be admired by men, for example. There's lots of things women need, but women need, for example, to be admired by men for being beautiful. Every little girl wants to know if she's pretty. Every little boy wants to know if you're proud of them, okay? Women have a need to be admired by men for being, and men need to have beauty to enjoy. Men are more visual. That's the way God created us. We love beauty, okay? And men made women beautiful. It's a symbiotic relationship, all right? And so we need to understand it's a great design, and it can work beautifully if we learn how to communicate these things in healthy ways. Here's an example. Sometimes you guys can feel stuck, and the engine is just not moving. It needs to be kick-started. Okay, it needs to be kick-started. You look at some of these cycles. These are reinforcing cycles. When a man feels successful, and this could be true for man or woman, this is an example. When a man feels successful, he's more likely to be successful. Okay, this is absolutely true. And when he's successful, there's benefits of a successful man. You need your husband to be successful. Okay, you both benefit. Sometimes he's got to feel successful even when he don't look successful in order to move to the next step of being successful. Women have the power to kickstart this cycle in their husbands' lives or keep it stagnant. If you inject him feeling successful, start admiring things, start praising things and so forth, it will start this cycle and you will benefit from it, okay? Another example, and this may be on the woman's side a little bit more. We want our women to be lovely, right? And to have physical and emotional intimacy. They need to feel loved. They need to feel loved. And that depends on what their love language is, okay? And we'll go into that. So they need to feel loved to be lovely. And then that leads to physical and emotional intimacy. Sometimes, men, we have to inject what's needed. They don't feel loved. Their emotional bank account is on zero. And we want to jump into the benefits of emotional and physical intimacy when we haven't kick-started that engine that was stagnant, okay? We have to inject love into the relationship, and then it's a self-reinforcing cycle. All right? Once you get that thing kick-started, that engine can run, and it just needs a little bit then to keep it moving. It doesn't need maybe the big jump start that it needs in the beginning to keep the thing active, okay? So those are a couple examples of our relationships and differences in men and women. Again, you can read through those notes, but we want to give time for the breakouts, guys. So